Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bexar County Court at Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Today is motion to revoke community supervision. Docket hearings we have set for today. Cause 616-337, State of Texas versus Edward Foster. Cause 623-508, State of Texas versus Jonathan Cepeda. Mr. Foster represented by Ms. Julia Hernandez. Mr. Cepeda represented by Mr. Jonathan Ross. Cause number 628807, State of Texas versus Richard Smith, represented by Mr. Randall Griner. Cause number 627894, State of Texas versus Dondria Cox, represented by Mr. Raymond Vale. Cause number 655767, State of Texas versus Jacob Juarez, represented by Ms. Sally Gonzalez. And cause number 661833, State of Texas versus Storm Gracia, represented by Ms. Alma Benavides. And representing the state today is Ross. Ross, what's your last name?
Lewis, Your Honor. He is in a breakout room. Do you want me to have them come out?
Yep.
Okay.
And what is Ross's last name, please?
Lewis.
Yeah. And representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Ms. Gross, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. And we've got Ross Lewis representing the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. And Ms. Gonzalez, I'm gonna let you guys confer a little bit later on in the future. All defense counsel, please be apprised, today's trial day. You should have conferred before today. Today, obviously, we have a new DA. You may confer with the old ones, and we're in a situation that we aren't normally in, so it's not a problem. So, Ms. Gonzalez, do not worry about it. I will let you have all the time you want to confer before we actually take up your case.
Okay.
So, let's see what we got cooking here. Which cases are we ready on at this time, Pat? We ready on Mr. Foster with Ms. Hernandez?
Yes, and also Mr. Smith.
Okay. This is cause number 616337, State of Texas versus Edward Foster, represented by Ms. Julia Hernandez. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. Ms. Hernandez, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. We're in agreement that it is true, but we wanted to give an explanation.
Sure. Normal court procedure is you can plead either true or not true with an explanation, and we'll go from there as long as you consent to my jurisdiction as the judge to make a determination. If you want a full-blown contested hearing, Ms. Gross will attempt to track down the actual court officer, and we'll go from there, whether we can do that today or some other day. So that's not an issue. Okay. At this time, I have two documents from Ms. Hernandez and Mr. Foster to identify their signatures on. The first one is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. In fact, Mr. Foster, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Hernandez, as attorney for Mr. Foster, is this your signature on this document?
Correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt. And that's not true. This is should be marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's rulings revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. So, Pat, administratively, that needs to be marked instead of the other box. This is
Yes,
not
Your
a
Honor.
adjudication. And in fact, Mr. Foster, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Hernandez, as attorney for Mr. Foster, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, this is a motion to revoke community supervision. It is uncontested. The defendant has an explanation. And at this time, Mr. Foster, on the motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
He's asking if it's true or not true, Mr. Foster.
Oh, true.
All right, and Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Foster's probation at this time, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Foster has been reporting, excuse me, as directed. We last saw him on September 22nd, 2021. He's paid $177 towards his fees. He has a balance of $927 and is delinquent $186. He was assessed 48 hours community service, which were probated. He was not ordered a Smart Start mobile device. He has not provided proof of enrollment or completion of DWI education, victim impact panel, or the drug offender education program. He has had 6 positive drug tests, 2 for marijuana, 2 for opiates, 2 for benzodiazepines. And on one occasion, he was not able to be tested because he couldn't provide a sample. The officer is recommending that if he provides a current list of medications and if he's consistent with his drug testing, that we add CATS IOP and weekly drug testing for a minimum of 8 weeks, and to continue to confirm those drug tests, that he be continued on probation. He has been asked and has provided a list of his medications in the past. However, it was a list from 2018. And his only criminal history is that he had a speeding of 72 in a 55.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, I guess the elephant in the room is all this different drug stuff. We've got marijuana, benzodiazepine, and opiates. And my understanding is that we have no current prescriptions for any of these drugs. And I would be interested in the defense explanation of all that, if you would.
Yes, Your Honor. Just to advise the court, my client has been in jail for 29 days. He has a major chronic back pain syndrome. He's had 4 surgeries on his back, including when they've placed hardware in his back for fusing his bones and removing the hardware. He also suffers from depression as a result and is taking medications which are not helping him at this time. He does see the doctor once a month, and he gets his medicine ball refilled from every 1 to 3 months. I did explain to him the importance of providing accurate prescriptions, copies which he can obtain the court, and that it was his job to get that and not the probation officers. He also is on Social Security disability, receives food stamps. He did attend the VIP class. However, he does not have the certificate with him at this time. The other classes were expensive, and he says that he couldn't do them all at one time, but that he could eventually do them. So since he's been in there, he's received just that 1 injection for pain in the 29 days and has not received any other medications for this issue. So, you know, he is doing the best that he can, and he does have a severe back pain issue.
Okay, once again, let's talk about opiates first. What kind of medication is he on that is providing positive for opiates on a urinalysis test?
Mr. Foster, can you judge what patient?
It's morphine and hydrocodone.
And do you have current prescriptions for morphine and hydrocodone?
Yes.
Have you provided them to your probation officer?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gross,
Negative, Judge.
all right. Mr. Foster, the probation department is saying they do not have any current prescriptions. Ms. Gross, do you have any prescriptions from any year previous to 2021 that would cover morphine and hydrocodone, I guess is my question.
2018, Judge.
Mr. Foster, do you have any prescriptions in 2021 for morphine or hydrocodone?
Yes, I do.
And did your probation officer not ask you to provide those prescriptions to her so she could confirm that these were medical positives for what would normally be illegal drugs?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Sure. Didn't your probation, when your probation officer got results of this urinalysis test and it showed you were positive for opiates and benzodiazepine and marijuana, didn't your probation officer ask you at that time to show her copies of the prescriptions for those particular drugs that would show that you were legally prescribed those drugs and were legally taking them? Mr. Hernandez, you're welcome to jump in here and
Yes, Mr. Foster.
I don't want to confuse Mr. Foster. Would you go ahead and rephrase my question for him, please?
Mr. Foster, do you have prescriptions for the medications that they are talking about that are from this year that you could provide to them? They would have to be from 2021, not prior.
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Judge, if I may,
Sure.
when all this came up with the positives and everything, she did ask him, and he did provide a list. However, that list is for 2018. And it does show that in 2018, he was prescribed all of these medications: hydrocodone, gabapentin, methadone, and a whole slew of other antipsychotics, which would explain the positives. However, these are so outdated that they would not be considered valid for ruling out that this is illegal substance use.
Okay, Mr. Foster, you just told us that you have current prescriptions in the year 2021 for morphine and hydrocodone. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And why have you not provided those copies of those prescriptions to your probation officer?
I can't explain that. I have no idea. I believe I did, was under the impression that I had provided it to him, but I guess
Okay.
not.
Would the answer be the same with regard to a prescription for benzodiazepine?
What do you mean be?
I mean, did you have a prescription in 2021 for benzodiazepine also?
I don't believe I do.
Susan, what is benzodiazepine's street name?
It could be any number of things, Judge.
Like what? What would we know the name of other than benzodiazepine?
Let me get you a quick list.
Is it like a painkiller? What does it do?
It's usually a mood addressing drug.
Okay. And
I
I'm
believe
assuming-
Xanax is one of those, Your Honor. Sorry.
Xanax, thank you. That's perfect.
Yep.
Mr. Foster, is Xanax what you were taking? And that what came up positive for benzodiazepine? Does that sound correct?
That sounds correct, sir.
Okay. And then marijuana, of course, you didn't have a prescription for marijuana, I don't imagine, did you?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay, I got you. Okay, state recommendation.
Let's see. On this case, Judge, the recommendation is that if he did have a list of current prescriptions and if he was able to provide that, then we were going to recommend let's see, zoomed out on me. Okay.
And
We were going to
Susan?
recommend the CAT-SNP IOP 8 weeks weekly UAs and random confirmations of those positive urinalysis tests as directed by the CSO. If he was not able to, then I would have to recommend revocation and 45 days in the Bexar County Jail in order to satisfy that.
And Susan, did you say earlier that Mr. Foster was not ordered by me to have a Smart Start mobile device?
Correct.
Does that make
It
any
appears
sense
this was
to you?
It was only a drug DWI, Judge, according to my notes. There was no alcohol present.
Okay. That makes sense. And Ms. Gross, please advise us of the status of SATF. If Mr. Foster wanted to volunteer to go to the substance abuse treatment facility, my understanding is it would be for a minimum time of 120 days inpatient, meaning you can't leave, you can't call people, you have no contact with the outside world. They are supposed to attempt to retrain your thinking to be able to get along without drugs and alcohol. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then how long is a wait before someone can get a bed at substance abuse treatment facility right now?
Judge, it's probably going to be in excess of a 3-month wait. I have somebody that's been in there just short of 3 months and they're still waiting. And however, with all of his medical issues, he probably will not qualify to go to SATF.
I understand. And how about MIOF, the mental illness offender facility?
Because of his back issues, it's going to be the same thing. He's probably not going to qualify.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, I'm running out of options. All these drugs, except for the marijuana, are far too heavy duty for just an outpatient drug rehabilitation course to address. He has completed some courses, Susan, is that correct?
No, Your Honor, I have no record of that. The defendant's attorney stated that she thought he had completed one, but I have no record.
Okay, and Mr. Hernandez, did you indicate he had completed a course that we didn't have him down for as having credit at some point?
Yes, he advised me that he completed the victim impact panel class.
And Susan, you don't have proof of that at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further, Mr. Hernandez?
Nothing further, Your Honor. That's what I was trying to explain to the court, that he does have a severe medical issue that is what is the problem. That's why he's having to take these pain medications. However, we asked the court if the case could be satisfied, but if the court's not willing to do that at this time, I think that he would be willing to obtain that list of medications and attend the IOP class or treatment program, as well as the weekly urine tests and confirmation. But I'm trying to find a solution for this because of the situation. So I understand your concern, Judge.
Mr. Hernandez, I neglected to ask you, what specifically are Mr. Foster's medical conditions? I know you referenced a back injury. How did he injure his back? And is that the only medical condition that we're dealing with today that we're using painkillers and whatnot to address?
Well, apart from that, he does have diabetes and the mental issues. The back injury was a result of a injury at work. And so he was a heavy equipment mechanic. And so subsequently, since 1989, he's had the 4 surgeries to put hardware in his back and to fuse his bones. And then the equipment, the hardware was then taken out. So he's had, ever since then, he's had issues with this.
Hey, Mr. Foster, do you recall who your doctor is on your back injury that's prescribing all this medication for you?
Yes, I do. It's Arthur Hernandez.
Dr. Hernandez?
Yes, sir. I also have a pacemaker.
And what kind of heart condition do you have that you have a pacemaker?
I have torsade de points.
Okay. And then Susan, I have a question for you. The narrative from the probation department indicates that there was a urinalysis test issued to Mr. Foster on 9/15/21. Have y'all received the results for that test yet?
9/15.
It says September 15th, 2021.
Let me double check, Your Honor. It was positive for marijuana, benzos, and opiates.
Okay. Mr. Foster, in cause 616-337, the court accepts your plea of true with an explanation on the motion to revoke community supervision in cause number 616-337. I grant the state's motion to revoke your probation. I sentence you to 180 days in the Bexar County Jail. What was the fine amount on this case, Susan?
$300.
$300 plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. And last time I looked, the sheriff was giving 3-for-1 credit, and I'm not going to dispute or mess with any of that. So that's where we're at. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Foster?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr.
Nothing
Foster.
further.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
May I be
And
excused, Your Honor?
yes, thank you so much. Mr. Griner, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Smith?
Well, I thought I was, Judge, but now I've got second thoughts. Actually, I do need to probably convey something real quick to my client, and then I'll be ready.
Sure. You want to send them to a chat room, Pat? Is Pat still with us?
She's muted, but she's working on
Oh.
sending them out.
Pat, can you hear me? Oh, you're working on
Yes,
sending.
I am.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, Your Honor. I forget every time we get out of. Okay, Mr. Griner, you can go back to 3 and I will put your defendant in 3 as well. Mr. Smith, as soon as I find him, there he is. And
And is Jonathan Ross with us today? Yep, I see you, John. Are you ready to go forward on Mr. Cepeda? I don't have a cover.
Yes,
sheet
Your
on
Honor.
Mr. Cepeda. Am I supposed to have documents on Mr. Cepeda, Pat?
I don't have that they've been completed yet, Your Honor, so I don't know that he has signed it.
Mr. Ross, you know anything about our cover sheet?
I understood that we both signed the consent to proceed and the,
There's a consent form and a trial court certification of right of appeal.
I'll double
Yep.
check, Your Honor, but I don't have any indication that it has been signed.
Okay, well, let's look for that. Mr. Vale, are you with us today?
Morning, Judge. Hi, I'm with you, Judge.
Are you ready to proceed on Ms. Cox's case?
I wanted to just touch base with Mr. Lewis briefly because I hadn't talked to him since he was substituting in to see where they were in terms of
All
the
right,
position on this
looking
case.
looking for somebody that's ready to go forward, and then we can take a break and let y'all chat.
Alma, Your Honor, is ready.
Okay, Ms. Benavides, are you ready on Ms. Gracia?
Mr. Gracia, yes, good
Mr.
morning.
Gracia, excuse me.
How are you?
I mean, is that correct? You're ready?
Yes, Judge, we're ready.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, this is cause number 661-833, State of Texas versus Storm C. Gracia. This is a first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. The first document I need Ms. Benavides and Mr. Gracia to identify their signatures on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. In fact, Mr. Gracia, is this your signature on this document, sir? Is that yes, sir, or no?
Yes, Your Honor, here, I see it.
And Ms. Benavides, as attorney for Mr. Gracia, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, Your Honor.
The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked as an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. Gracia?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Benavides, as attorney for Mr. Gracia, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Once again, representing the state is Mr. Ross Lewis, representing the defense is Ms. Alma Benavides, representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who our mind is still under oath. Ms. Benavides, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion, first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Gracia, in clause 661-833 on the first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. How do you plead, sir?
Your Honor,
Guilty.
Your Honor, there are certain violations that he's pleading true to and certain violations he's pleading not true to with an explanation.
All right, let's go down the list here if we can. I'm looking at the first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. I see violation of condition number 2, which is actually there are 2 of these alleged on here, so we'll call this one 2A for purposes of clarification. How does Mr. Gracia plead on 2A?
Not true, Your Honor.
And then I have number 14.
That one is true.
Go ahead.
Violation of condition number 14 is true,
And I have number 15,
not true,
and I have number 16,
true,
And I have number 17,
true,
and I have number 18,
true,
and I have number 2B for clarification.
not true,
And that's what I got. So I've got not true with an explanation, 2A, 15, and 2B. And true with an explanation, 14, 16, 17, and 18. Is that correct?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Gracia's probation, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Gracia has been reporting as directed. We last saw him on October 6th of 2021. He has paid $218 towards his fees. He has a balance of $843, and he is current at this time. We have no record of any of his 48 hours community service having been completed, and we have no proof of enrollment or completion in DWI education, victim impact panel, or the CATSNP program. He has had one positive drug test for marijuana, one diluted drug test, and then he also has one pending. He is currently on Smart Start Mobile. He is testing at 4 times per day. He has not had any alleged skips, but he has had one high BRAC on August 29th, 2021, which registered at a 0.036. This is his first violation report, first motion to revoke. He has no criminal history, and his officer is recommending that he be placed on weekly UAs through the IVR call line, and that we increase his Smart Start mobile device to 6 times per day.
And Ms. Benavides, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, we're asking the court to go along with the recommendation to continue Mr. Gracia on his probation. He has enrolled in the DWI education class and starts that class on November the 5th. The CATS class, he cannot enroll online, so he's going in person today to register for that class. With regard to the positive alcohol on August the 29th, Mr. Gracia tells me that he believes the mouthwash that he was using interfered with the test. I explained to him that he needs to follow up with the retest, rinse and retest. He's agreed to do that. With regard to the positive for marijuana, he tells me that he is a regular vape. He smokes, he vapes on a regular basis. And I've instructed him to stay away from that because my understanding is that if there are any CBD drops in the vape machine, then he's going to test positive. So he understands that he can no longer vape during his probation. He's holding down 2 jobs, Your Honor. He works for a restaurant called Snooze as a server, and he also works at Grimaldi's Pizzeria as a server. And he's trying to hold on to these 2 jobs. He's also facing a possible eviction. So he's got a lot going on right now. He has assured me that he will comply with all of the conditions of probation. And so that's why we're asking the court to consider continuing him on probation.
Is Mr. Gracia active in the CATSNP program right now? Is he actively going to classes, probably on Zoom or something for the outpatient drug course?
The CATS class, he has to register in person, Your Honor. So he's going today to register.
Oh, gotcha.
And he's already registered for the DWI education class that begins November 5th.
And Susan, if you would check your record, do you know what the original fine on this case was?
$200, Your Honor.
And how many community service hours were originally issued?
48.
State recommendation, please.
Your Honor, we will also be recommending the same, that this probationer be continued on supervision, weekly or analysis exam for 30 days, increased test times on the Smart Start mobile device to 6 tests per day for 30 days.
Mr. Gracia, on cause 661833, the court accepts your plea of true with an explanation to 14, 16, 17, and 18, and not true with an explanation to 2A, 2B, and 15. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $200 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start mobile home interlock at 6 blows a day. If he shows me a clean 30-day period of time that he has no skip tests and no high brax for alcohol, Alma, I will crank him back down to 4, but I won't know if he's done that. He has to tell you, you have to tell me, and I'll get it confirmed with probation. Weekly UAs, if he shows me 4 clean weekly UAs in a row, I'll put him back on monthly UA. I won't know if he's done that. He's got to tell you, you got to tell me, and I will call probation to confirm. Substantial compliance in all other areas within 10 days, meaning any programs he is not previously registered for, like catnip, he needs to register for them. He may not start in 10 days, but he at least will be registered and know what's coming. And that's what I got. Susan, what did I miss?
Nothing, Your Honor, but some quick instructions for Mr. Gracia. Mr. Gracia, you're gonna have to go through the orientation process again. So Ms. Benavides, the court coordinator, will be sending some documents to you and your attorney, which you need to fill out today, which will be a new application and data sheet. You need to return that immediately. That will go to the probation department, and then they will be reaching out to you. If you haven't heard from them by next Tuesday, you need to call them at 210-335-7446, or have Ms. Benavides, your attorney, get in touch with me and we'll figure out what's going on. So you're going to be starting all over. Your officer will be in touch with you within the next 24 hours with your new testing times on the Smart Start mobile, okay?
And Susan, he gets credit for any programs completed or monies paid or anything he's done.
Okay,
And I'm recalling all pretrial services, bond conditions that may have been utilized. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Gracia?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr.
No.
Gracia. Thank you, Ms. Benavides.
Thank you,
Judge.
Judge.
All right,
Excuse.
who else needs to confer with the?
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Griner, are you ready, Mr. Griner? You're back. They're
Yes,
ready.
I'm ready, Pat. I just had.
And I'm also ready too, Judge.
Let's see what we got here.
And Pat, I'm also ready on Cox.
Thank you.
2-minute break while I get another legal pad. Y'all have been talking so much, you ran me out of my legal pad.
Your Honor, also,
Yeah.
please sign Mr. Cepeda's paperwork.
Perfect, thanks.
Thank you.
Pat, real quick,
Yes,
I'm gonna expect another, let's see, the application and
I'm doing
the,
that actually right now. I just need to finish it up.
I don't need to sign any of that. That should just go directly to him.
Well, actually, no, you still need to fill out the top information just so that you
Oh,
make sure
okay.
that it's sent to you. All right,
All right, will do. Thank you.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Pat, do you mind if I could touch base with the state just real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Judge.
Okay, and that is Mr. Vale? Is that correct?
Ross.
I don't know. Oh, Ross,
That
okay.
was Ross. I was ready to
I'm sorry,
proceed.
I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Lewis, go back in, Ross, go back into 1, and I will shoot Mr. Ross into 1.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, doing 20,000 things at one time is not. Yes, ma'am.
You need to mute yourself.
Okay.
Pat, can you read the chat? I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am, I'm answering you back. If you just
Oh,
give.
thank you. Okay.
Okay, are we ready to roll?
Yes, Your Honor.
Back on the record, this is Bear County Court Law number 6 in the Bear County Veterans Treatment Court. We are in the middle of our motion to revoke probation docket. Today is Wednesday, the 20th of October, 2021, and the time is approximately 11:05 a.m. Do we have our DA back?
Yes, Your Honor.
Back, Judge.
Are we ready to go forward on Mr. Cepeda, Mr. Ross?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is cause number 623508, State of Texas versus Jonathan Cepeda. This is a fifth amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. And Ms. Gross, you brought to my attention yesterday that there is an administrative error on a date somewhere on this document. What am I looking at?
Yes, sir. On the 2 number 1s that are alleged in the motion, in that particular one is going to be on the 4th amended, I believe. Or I'm sorry, the 5th amended. We need to change those 2 dates on both number 1s from 9 October 2022 to 9 October 2021.
Okay, so let me see if I get this straight, make sure everybody understands. In clause 623508 on the fifth amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, Mr. Jonathan Andrew Cepeda on the fifth amended motion to adjudicate probation paragraphs, there are 2 alleging 2 new number 1s. The date of the actual number 1s on this document are currently 10/9/22 for both paragraphs and both allegations of new offenses. Is that correct, Ms. Gross?
Yes.
So state, I'm going to ask you to make a motion to amend the dates administratively on these 2 documents from 10/9/2022 to 10/9/2021.
Yes, Your Honor. The state moves for the change on the 5th amended MTR for violation condition number 1, for both violations of condition number 1 to be changed from the 9th day of October 2022 to the 9th day of October 2021.
Any objection from the defense?
Nothing from the defense on that, Your Honor.
That will be granted. Thank you. So Susan, if you'll take care of that administratively for future reference, we come back in 10 years, we'll know what we did. Okay. Once again, representing the, what do I got? State is Mr. Ross Lewis, representing the defense in this case is Mr. Jonathan Ross. Representing the Bear County CD is Ms. Susan Gross, who our mind is still under oath. Mr. Ross, my understanding is this is an uncontested fifth amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
We are not admitting to all the allegations, Your Honor, certainly not the new number 1s.
I guess you have a couple options. A, you could just plead to the ones that are true with an explanation, or B, you can plead to all of them, and I'll be happy to put that on the record. And it's either going to be true with an explanation or not true with an explanation. The ultimate issue is Mr. Cepeda and you have to consent to my jurisdiction to make decisions on each of those unless you want to request a fully contested fifth amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, which would probably entail just bringing in an original probation officer to testify, if I were guessing.
I believe if the state would elect to proceed on the 14 and maybe condition number 5, we'd be fine with that, Your Honor.
Okay, I've got several 14s. So for purposes of the record, I'm going to call them 14A, 14B, 14C, 14D. Still looking. 14E, 14F is in Foxtrot, 14G is in golf, 14H is in hotel, 14I is in India, 14J is in Juliet, 14K is in Kilo, 14L is in Lima, 14M is in Mike, 14N is in November, 14O is in Oscar, 14P is in Papa, 14Q is in Quebec, 14R is in Romeo, 14S is in Sierra, 14T is in Tango, 14U is in uniform. I'm running out of letters. 14V is in Victor, 14W is in whiskey, 14X is in X-ray, 14Y is in Yankee, 14Z is in Zulu. That's probably enough. Basically, is he going to be true with an explanation on all the 14s on this document? Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, we could do that.
All right. State, that okay with you?
Yes, it is, Judge.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so Mr. Cepeda, in cause 623-508 on the fifth amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. How do you plead, sir? My understanding is it's true with an explanation to all the allegations of 14 on this document. Is that correct, Mr. Cepeda?
Yes, sir.
And is that correct, Mr. Ross?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Cepeda's probation, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Just to clarify, I also believe that his attorney stated they would also plead true to number 5s.
All I heard was 14. Mr. Ross, what do you want to do?
If the state's fine with going on 14, we'll go on 14. That'd be
All
fine.
right, 14 it is. Go ahead, Ms. Gross.
Okay, Judge, this case was originally transferred down to Cameron County for supervision, and he performed very poorly on probation. We haven't seen or heard from him since January 2nd of 2021. He's missed a total of 12 months of reporting. Cameron County returned supervision back to us back on October 1st of 2020, once the motion to revoke was filed and a warrant was issued. He has since been arrested for an assault, bodily injury, and a failure to ID in Harris County, where he did not have permission to be. He's paid $710 towards his fees. He has a balance of $1,909, and he is delinquent $1,694. He was not assessed any community service. He has had, he has completed DWI education, the stress class, and we have no record of enrollment or completion of the victim impact panel or the CAT-SNP program or an equivalent in Cameron County. It appears that the defendant moved from Cameron County and he failed to report a change of address. He was on Smart Start mobile testing 6 times per day. He has 198 skip tests, 25 high BRACs, and these high BRACs range from 0.020 to 0.049. Do you want me to read off the individual violations, Judge?
I don't think that'll be necessary. Defense, you request that?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. State's that okay with you? Hang on.
That's
State's
okay,
that okay
Judge.
with you? All right.
Yeah,
go
that's
ahead,
perfectly
Susan.
fine.
Okay. The defendant has been in lockout on his device since January 19th of 2021. And Smart Start finally wrote off the device on May 31st of 2021. This is his fourth violation report, his second motion to revoke. His criminal history includes 2 possession of marijuana 0 to 2 ounces, resisting arrest and failure to ID, and then also the 2 additional charges which are alleged in the motion to revoke. His probation officer is recommending that his probation be revoked.
Mr. Ross, what are you requesting?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Cepeda understands that he has a pretty serious alcohol problem. He's trying to quit. Actually, he would like treatment. He understands the Bexar County facilities are pretty backed up right now. His brother has leukemia, and I believe is nearing his expected end of his time. So he would like to request to be revoked. I believe we have an agreed recommendation with the state to revoke for 60 days, and so he can help with his brother as he finishes up his time and is able to sign into private rehab, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Ross and Mr. Lewis and Mr. Cepeda all understand that I am not bound by any agreement that the defense may have made with the state. Is that correct, Mr. Ross?
Yes, Your Honor. We do understand that this is entirely in your discretion. Mr. Cepeda is being very straightforward and honest about this. We're not trying to have a contested hearing and drag in an official from a different county or anything like that. He just has a brother who's passing away, and he'd just like to handle this as efficiently as possible and get along with what he needs to do, Your Honor.
I got it. State recommendation?
That is our recommendation, Judge. It would be for 60 days in the Bexar County Jail.
Okay. Mr. Ross and clause Mr. Cepeda on clause 623508. The court accepts your plea of true to all condition 14s on this document, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. That's it, 51. Is that correct, defense?
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right. Allegations. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation.
$500 fine, Judge.
And I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, $500. Well, this is deferred. So adjudicates you guilty of the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. It says a $2,000 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. And he gets credit for any time spent in either the Cameron County Jail or the Bexar County Jail. And Mr. Ross, you may want to check on that. I may have to do something more than just say that on the record to make sure he gets credit for all that. And
I believe he's been in Harris County Jail since October the 9th, Your Honor.
in any jail in any county anywhere is he gets credit for as a result of this case. So we just need to make sure that the powers to be know that's what we're doing. And we're recalling all prior pretrial services bond conditions that may have been rendered. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Cepeda?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Cepeda. Thank you, Mr. Ross. Y'all are dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Griner, ready to go forward on Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
This is cause 628807, the state of Texas versus Richard Devin Smith. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Representing the state, Mr. Ross Lewis. Representing the Bear County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who our mind is still under oath. Representing Mr. Smith is Mr. Randall Griner. Mr. Smith and Mr. Griner, I have two documents for you to identify your signatures on for me. The first is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. In fact, Mr. Smith, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Griner, as attorney for Mr. Smith, is this also your signature on this document?
They are, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, "is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal." Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And the attorney for Mr. Smith, Mr. Griner, is this also your signature on this document?
It is.
And Mr. Griner, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
With explanation, yes.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Smith, on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
True.
True.
Is there or Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Smith's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Smith has performed very poorly on probation. We have not seen him since September 24th of 2020. He was originally extended for a period of 6 months, and in total, he's missed 8 months of reporting. There were never any payments made. He has a balance of $1,105. We have no proof of any of his 40 hours community service having been completed. He was supposed to be on weekly drug testing, and he had one positive for marijuana, which he admitted to using, and then he failed to submit on 11 occasions before he went missing. As part of a prior violation report, he has.
Excuse me just a moment. I'm sorry to interrupt. Mr. Smith, turn your microphone off, sir. We're getting some background noise from you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Cepeda, go into a breakout room. Your attorney wants to talk to you.
Mr. Smith has had 6 violation reports, and this is his second MTR. And on a prior violation report, the court ordered that he obtain a GPS device, and that was ordered on September 24th of 2020. He did sign the conditions, but he never obtained the device. He has no criminal history, and he had an original fine of $300, and his officer is recommending revocation.
Defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, yeah, I am requesting revocation because he was put on this back in January, right prior to the COVID. And it's been, I take myself back and I remember what it was like over a year and a half ago when COVID shut down dang near everything. He has tried to report and everything like that through mail, not mail, but through phone calls. He doesn't get a response and everything. Now, I'd like you to note that his extreme youth, he was 17 when he was being put on this. He's been homeless during a lot of this time period, could not get along with his father-in-law or stepfather, my bad. And, but he has secured employment. As far as that, he has tried, and I'll let him testify to it. He has tried to do the community service, but COVID also shut down a lot of the avenues that people would perform community service. I'm in line with the state's recommendation from Mr. Lewis, and I would ask the judge to follow that.
State recommendation.
State recommendation, Judge, is going to be for revocation. It is, I believe, 14 days in the Bear County Jail, time and money to run concurrent, credit for time served, and if it pleases the court, that would be a judgment satisfied in this case. And it would come with an adjudication of guilt since this was a deferred.
Is evading arrest on foot a Class A? Is that correct?
That is.
Yes, Judge, it is.
Okay, Mr. Smith, in class 628807. Court accepts your plea of true with an explanation. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of evading arrest or detention. I sentence you to 1 year in the Bear County Jail. Assess a $4,000 fine plus court costs. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. Recalling all PTS bond conditions. And last time I heard, the sheriff's giving 3 for 1. I'm not going to interfere with whatever the sheriff's quotient is for sentences these days. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Smith?
I'm sorry, you're imposing the max on a first time. I just need to make sure I got that down.
I believe that would be accurate.
Thank you, Judge.
And Judge, just to clarify, that was a plea of true to all?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Smith?
I would like the opportunity to confer with my client.
Sure.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm here. Let me just see where I can fit you in. Okay. Mr. Smith, go into room 2. Mr. Grenier, I'm going to move to 2. There you go.
Okay, Mr. Vale, you ready to proceed on Ms. Cox?
I am, Judge.
It's called 627-894, State of Texas versus Dondria Cox. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Representing the state is Mr. Ross Lewis. Representing the Bear County CSCD is Ms. Susan Groves, who I remind is still under oath. First document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference that purports to have both Ms. Cox and Mr. Vale's signatures. In fact, Ms. Cox, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir, it is.
And Mr. Vale, is this your signature as attorney for Ms. Cox on this document also?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which states is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. And is this your signature on this document also, Ms. Cox?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Vale, as attorney for Ms. Cox, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Judge.
And Mr. Vale, my understanding is in cause 627-894, which is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. This is an uncontested motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Cox, in cause 627-894 on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, ma'am?
And Judge, on that, what we're going to do is we're going to plead not true on number 2 and number 14 with an explanation, and true on number 5, number 13, and number 15 with an explanation.
Okay, and you're not requesting a contested hearing. You're submitting to me as jurisdiction to make a determination whether these allegations are actually true or not true after testimony and argument and whatnot. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Fair enough. So true with an explanation to conditions 2 and 14. I'm sorry, not true with an explanation to conditions 2 and 14, and true with an explanation to conditions 5, 13, and 15. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
All right, great. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Ms. Cox's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Cox has been reporting as directed. We last saw her on October 13th, 2021. She has not made any payments on this case and has a balance of $375 and is delinquent 56. There were no community service hours assessed in this case. We have no proof of enrollment or completion of the drug offender education program, parenting class, or life skills class. This is her first violation report, first MTR. She has 1 positive drug test for cocaine. Her previous her previous arrest history includes possession of marijuana 0 to 2 ounces, possession of marijuana 4 ounces to 5 pounds, burglary of a vehicle. This case, another burglary of a vehicle, unlawful carrying of a weapon, and 2 aggravated robberies. She is currently on probation in a felony court for aggravated robbery. And the judge there, due to violations, has ordered that she be placed on weekly drug testing and go through the CATS IOP, which the probation officer is also recommending so that it concurs with the sentence on the felony case.
Does she have a jail sentence on the felony case or a probation?
No, she's on probation, and due to the violations, the judge altered, amended her conditions to add weekly drug testing and CATS IOP.
Okay. Defense, over to you.
Yes, Judge. Okay, with regard to the, I know it's not a violation, Judge, but just to make the court aware, she does have both the felony and misdemeanor case. She did make payments, but she didn't realize that she had to direct the person at the register to apply it to both cases. So she actually has been making payments, but nothing was applied to the misdemeanor. In terms of the missed visit on September 28th, Judge, she did reach out to the probation officer and explain that she had gotten ill. There was an email transaction between the two of them, and that visit was subsequently rescheduled for October 13th, which she did make. In terms of the life skills program, which was number 14, Judge, she did register and complete the class. She thought she turned in the certificate to the right probation officer, but I think she got confused. I've explained to her that Ms. Hernandez is handling both the misdemeanor and the felony case. She had different probation officers at various points in time while these cases were getting set up. She's going to request another copy of the certificate. And if she's unable to do so, she'll re-register for the class to make sure it gets done. On 13 and 15, Judge, she was delayed in registering, but she did register for the class. And at this point, she's waiting for the classes to get back to her with her start dates. She did register earlier this week, and we're awaiting, a attendance date for her to get started. With regard to the drug test, Judge, on number 2, my client, as indicated by her history, has had some issues with marijuana use, but she's never been involved with any types of hard drugs such as cocaine. In fact, she's currently pregnant, Your Honor. She's at a loss as to why the test would have tested positive for cocaine. She was happy to do a retest. That was one of the things I was looking for, to see if there was a follow-up test to see levels and to see if the testing was accurate. She, is adamant that she's not used any of those types of drugs. She's happy to participate in any drug counseling programs. But, she has, she's at a loss. I mean, we went back and forth on it. She was very surprised to see that testing result came out the way it did. Because again, she's pregnant. She's not doing any type of things. She's happy to do weekly UAs to show the court that she is not going to be positive for any drugs, and that we believe that the test may not have been accurate for whatever reason. So that's kind of where we're at, Judge. She's been doing fine on the felony probation. And again, there was a little confusion because of the fact that she's running both probations. And so that was part of the problem that we were having. And so I think we straightened it out at this point.
State recommendation?
Your Honor, the state would recommend that this probationer also be continued in accordance, and also the same as what happened in the felony court, which is weekly UAs on the IVR line and CATS IOP.
And there was a failure to report for 1 month. Is that correct, Susan, or does that mean more than 1 month?
I believe it was just the 1 month, which was September.
Okay. Mr. Vale, is there a reason why we failed to report allegedly?
Yes, Judge.
September 21?
Yes, Judge. Again, she had gotten sick, and so she did reach out to her probation officer, send an email asking for a reschedule, and that was, my understanding, was rescheduled to October 13th, which she did attend. She's been very good about making her visits, Judge. And again, she regularly communicates with her probation officer if there's an issue by email, just to make sure that there's no problems, or if she has to reschedule.
And I'm sorry, State, did I ask your recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. It was the weekly UAs on the IVR line and CATS IOP.
Ms. Cox, in cause 627894, The court accepts your plea of true with an explanation to conditions 5, 13, and 15, and not true with an explanation to conditions 2 and 14. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. Adjudicate you guilty of the offense of burglary of a vehicle. I sentence you to 1 year in the Bear County Jail, sets a $4,000 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. If she has any jail time on the felony, I'm going to run it CC with the felony, and we'll go from there. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Cox?
Nothing further from the state.
Well, nothing
Judge,
further, I guess,
do
from
you
the
have a
defense.
report date for jail?
Ms. Cox in San Antonio, I'm guessing. Is that correct, Ms. Cox? Are you in San Antonio?
She's in San Antonio, Judge.
Yes, sir, I am.
Today is Wednesday. Let's report Friday morning,
Give me a second.
22nd at 9:00 a.m. to the Bear County Jail.
Not right this morning. Give me a second.
Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Cox?
Nothing further from the state.
Last I heard, Mr. Bale, the sheriff was giving 3-for-1 credit. I'm not sure what it is now. I'm not going to interfere with that. That's between the sheriff and you guys.
Well, Judge, I mean, we'd only ask the court to reconsider continuing her on probation again with the outpatient program that they had recommended.
Respectfully denied.
Please,
Good luck,
sir.
Ms. Cox. Thank you, Mr. Vale.
And Judge, that was a reporting on Friday?
Yep, Friday, this coming Friday, which is the 22nd of October at 9:00 a.m. She's report to the Bear County Jail to serve her sentence.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, good luck, Ms. Cox. Thank you, Mr. Vale. Ms. Gonzalez, do you need more time to confer with the state, or are you ready to go forward on Mr. Juarez?
Well, Judge, can I talk to you about a reset?
Let's see what we're doing here.
And I'd like to explain.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, well, I was emailed this case on the 11th of this month, and then the court did tell me that I needed to confer with the state before this. I did attempt to reach out to the state, and I didn't receive anything in response. I mean, this isn't to lay blame. I'm just saying I didn't get an opportunity. I don't have any of the information on the MTR. I did the e-discovery through Bear County, and all I have is the original DWI. So I mean, I don't even know how to proceed with this because I don't quite even know what his violations are. He's disputing the violation. And also he reached out to the court to ask to hire an attorney. So I don't want to do too much on this if I'm going to get kicked off.
But hey,
Yeah,
let me
you're-
explain. Hang on, everybody
Honor.
stop talking, please. Everybody stop talking, please. Pat, go ahead.
Okay, Your Honor, yes. Mr. Juarez did tell me that he was asking for a reset. What I told him was, one, that I could not, that he needed to come in and tell you that he is hiring an attorney. Unless his attorney, of course, put in the retained counsel between now and then, which I did check. So I mean, I did what, because I cannot reset.
All right, it's okay. It's okay. Everybody stay cool. Mr. Juarez or Ms. Gonzalez, do I have permission to talk to your client, ma'am?
Yes.
About hiring an attorney?
Yes.
Thank you. Hey, Mr. Juarez, is it your intention to want to hire a different attorney than Ms. Gonzalez to represent you on this matter?
Well, Your Honor, I didn't know I had a court-appointed attorney. I was under the impression that I was going to come to court today representing myself and myself only. So it was a surprise that I had someone representing me today. If she can help me out on this case to best of her wills, then my intentions aren't to kick her off. I won't hire anyone.
Let's do this. I'm sorry, Mr. Juarez, let me interrupt you. I apologize. At this time, let me suggest something and see if you think it's okay. At this time, while we've got Ms. Gonzalez here and you here on Zoom, why don't we put you in a chat room so y'all can chat? I'm going to reset this to next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Will that work for you, Mr. Juarez?
Yes, sir.
And if you decide to keep Ms. Gonzalez representing you, that's fine. And if you decide to get a new attorney, that's fine. But the attorney needs to know that we're going to have this hearing set next Wednesday at 10 a.m. And that's going to be the 27th of October. that okay with
Judge,
you,
can I
Mr.
add?
Juarez? Mr. Juarez, is that okay with you?
Answer,
Oh.
Jacob.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right,
Oh.
thank you. And Ms. Gonzalez, is that okay with you?
Yes, sir. Can I ask one more thing?
Sure.
Okay, so if I'm going to be his attorney and we're going to continue this, he told me that he wants to voluntarily give a blood test because he's disputing something else. I would suggest in this week time, we do a blood test. So the
Yes.
next time I show up, we're all on the same page and we're not going back and forth anymore.
Y'all got a
If
week
I'm-
to do whatever you want to do. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Juarez, I'm sorry.
Okay, so the only reason why I'm trying to hire.
Jacob, don't.
Yes.
I'm going to instruct my client to not talk about the content of the case. We're just
Yeah,
talking
I'm just
about
talking
whether
the
or not.
reset and
Okay.
representation. Correct.
Okay, let's just end it there.
All right.
Okay.
Here's what let me make clear for everybody what we're doing. We're resetting this case on defense request to next Wednesday, which is October 27th at 10 a.m. on Zoom, just like we're doing right now. Ms. Benavides will send you a notice of the setting with the sign-in information, which theoretically will be the same unless we have a Spanish speaker, at which point it'll be different. And that gives Mr. Juarez time to either continue with Ms. Gonzalez, and if he does so, that's great. Ms. Gross, would you be able to provide Ms. Gonzalez with all the copy of the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision and any other allied documents from the probation department today?
Yes, Ms. Gonzalez, if you can just send me an email, it's susan.gross, Gross,
Okay,
at
hang on.
bear.org.
Hold on a second. Okay, go ahead.
Susan.gross, Gross, at bear.org. Just
Got it.
send me a request and I'll shoot you the document.
Thank you.
And what I suggest, Ms. Gonzalez, I mean, it's your case, do what you want, but chat with Mr. Juarez here for as long as you'd like on the chat room by yourself. And if he decides that he would like you to represent him, I would suggest you come back with us and I'll make our Assistant Criminal District Attorney, Mr. Lewis, available to you. And you can chat with him today. Now, obviously, you still don't have those documents in front of you. The allegations I'm looking at are 2 positive urinalysis tests for marijuana on August 27th, 21 and September 23rd, 21, and an allegation that the defendant did not complete 13 hours of community service, and an allegation the defendant did not complete the Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, which is our outpatient drug program. And that's the only 1, 2, 3, 4 allegations there are. So 2 marijuana positives a month apart. Didn't finish 13 hours of community service and apparently didn't finish the CAT and NIP program. Is that correct, Susan?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's what you're dealing with. But would that be all right with you, Ms. Gonzalez? You chat with the defendant, and if he decides he wants you to represent him, while you're here, you might as well talk to the state if that's okay with you. And any other way you want to do it, that's fine with me. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week at 10 o'clock.
Well, yeah, thank you, Judge.
You bet. All right. Good luck, Mr. Juarez. I'm going to send you in a chat room with Ms. Gonzalez, and y'all decide what y'all want to do. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, hold on.
I'm joining room 2, Pat.
Yes, 2. I'm going to send him in there as well.
Okay, thank you.